Yo, yo, yo. Watch this. Boom. Guys, this is absolutely crazy. Man, if you've been around here for a few years, uh, copy pat. And this indicator right here, using the cycle, right? Cycle parameters and the fast Fourier transform. This little guy right here called the bottom on SPY. And on top of that, man, look, October 19th, 2022. On top of that, look at this, man. Look at the highs. Okay, by July 2024, okay, July 2024, this thing was saying that the average would be trading at around 560. Okay, that's the average. You go back to the current time, and what is happening right now, guys? We're trading in, okay, that was July when it called basically the high, right? We're currently trading at 560 on average. And the timing here is just absolutely crazy using this indicator on the weekly time frame, how powerful it was to be able to predict this move. And I completely agree with it. And I'll tell you guys why this matters here for AMC in a second. But, bro, that's just crazy. That's 2 years of data. And the levels, guys, the levels here are absolutely insane, man. The reason this matters here for the market just in general is we are seeing this push to the upside here, but the way everything is timing, crypto and all these other higher cap stocks that are breaking back up. The reason this matters is because liquidity here is essentially going to be used again, just like we saw back in 2021 in the coming years. This is where the markets, and this is the projection that I have, not only using what's going on here on CopyPad, but also using just phases in the market, right? What happens after a market pump? Typically, you experience a distribution period. This is distribution because after distribution, you have a decline phase in the markets. And this checks out, man, because the markets have been pumping here for a little while, and we're definitely due for a pullback. But I think a lot of analysts and traders are trying to push this idea or this narrative that the markets are going to crash now. But things don't just fall down, man. Like in phases, it takes time, and you need to see the curves here take place, how things are looking here on the macro charts, right? Whenever you get to all-time highs, things don't just fall down, and that's never happened here on the charts. If you look at the timing, everything that pumps up will curve. It'll curve first, and then it'll start falling back down. And if you look at things here, like from just a symmetrical perspective here, right? That wouldn't happen until sometime in 2026, potentially even going into 2027. So that's years, guys, from now. If that is the case, that we experience a period where the markets are coming down. And yeah, that just gives the opportunity again for all of these other stocks to start pumping, like AMC and some of the other small and mid cap stocks. This is huge, man. This is huge stuff. So yeah, we'll talk about that. That's what we're going to cover here. All right. AMC. All right. So I'm using a few things here, and we're going to stay on the weekly chart for a second. So this is not CopyPat, but this is spots as well. Spots works very well on the larger time frames. As you can see, going back here to 2020, right, we did have some choppiness happening, right? We have a curve here. This is a smooth curve. And the curve is then, all right, followed by some spots, some crosses, right? So these crosses are basically telling the chart if it's bullish or bearish on the macro. The last time we had a blue cross was a fake out right here. You can see even the smooth curve, whenever you experience fake outs, you're going to see it followed by a pink spot very, very quickly. And those are the fake outs, right? But right now we have a blue spot and we have a curve finally turning to the upside here, which we have not seen since 2021. Okay, it's been pink. Okay, this just turned blue last month. So very, very new stuff here. And I'll touch base on this very quickly. I did on the last video, but I did talk about these candles, right? These quad witching candles. And I had some comments like, yo, what does this mean? Like, what's the quad witching? Like, why is the quad witching curve or the quad witching candles, why are they relevant? Well, anything that happens between quad witching dates is crucial when it comes to options, because when these guys are hedging for their positions, whether they're long or short, they're going to try and create these like synthetic patterns, right? And they have for every stock in the market, my belief is that they have a system that has these patterns set in place, and they're able to distribute that volume however they'd like, right? That is my theory. That is something that I believe, and it is something that has helped with just the function of the cycle, the way the function kind of plays out here, the way that we have seen time and time again the POIs be positive or negative, and then the consistency between them. The timing is very, very crucial. So a lot of the times what we see here inside these candles are volatility zone. And if the price is descending, you will see that volatility zone will get shut down. They're just collecting premiums, they're bringing it back down, and then they're keeping that candle sideways. So these guys are basically winning at the end of the day because they bring it back down by the expiration, quad witching, right? So that is why this is important. Quad witching is huge. All right, so we do have a quad witching date coming up here this week. And one of the things I had hoped for, because the week is not over, right? We still have a day here, is that AMC closes above the 456. Why? Because, if you look at the candles, the quad witching candles, okay, for us to be green, which we are right now, this would be the second time in a row that we see a green candle on AMC. And the last close that we had was 456. So if it falls below that or closes on that, we would still have a green candle. But if it falls below that and we close below that, then we have a red candle again, which it's not the end of the world, right, with another red candle. But we've never really seen two green candles back to back where it's then followed by another green candle, right? We've never seen three in a row. That would be the first time that we see that on AMC, and we finally start to get the idea here that the trajectory is changing, because even though it's so slight, very slight push here, it still tells us that the trajectory is bullish. Like, whether things look a little bit more stagnant and flat, it's still telling us that the trajectory is pointing up, and that's where we get the quad witching curve, right? So this guy, right, if we say we close right there, right, that would be the third in a row, the third quad witching date, or the second quad witching date where we are showing bullish pressure. We've already seen in June 2024, we already saw the curve slightly shift up, which was telling us, okay, it's still bullish. But this would be even more bullish, right, if we close at the $5 range. I would like to see that. I would love to see it go up to 6, right? But being that this would have to happen tomorrow, we've seen it, 2 days before AMC has rallied over 400%. So it's not impossible, and we're still in that POI range, right? The POI range that we track. We're trying to figure out right now where the POI starts, because once we get this next confirmation on the POI, it'll be a lot easier to understand how cyclical this is, and where the starting point is on the POI, right? Because what I believe is that when we had this massive dump here, I believe the cycle reset, and we have a new 62-day cycle structure that flows. But the starting point is very important, because the starting point, right, if it's a month ahead or a month behind, it's going to give us it's going to give us a different starting point for what happened in May of 2024. But it's, that right now where it's currently placed in range, it has the POI happening now. If it shifted a month later, right, then this POI would essentially be starting right now, and this POI in May would have happened a little bit later as well, where it's currently placed. So all this information is very important. Why we need to see some sort of volatility happening here. Now, if the price remains flat, obviously at that point this would be another stagnant POI, and AMC would then have to cycle again. And we'll see what happens on the next move here. But one of the things that is very crucial, guys, with this kind of setup is following the levels on the patterns that we're tracking, right? Because the patterns that we're tracking right now, right, most of them are basically saying that this sequence right here is slowed down on the AMC chart, right? But most of the patterns did it a lot earlier. They did it a lot quicker. And the one thing we've been tracking here are the levels. So nothing is crossed below a support range based on those patterns, which is a good sign. And as long as we don't come back below the 410 range, okay, this is a very important level, I think AMC would still be set up to push to the upside. We would need to see it do something like that, right, and start pushing back up. That would be ideal. I think we would see something like that soon. And that's where I'm at right now with AMC, just kind of waiting for that to be the case. So I'll pull up some of the patterns again just to kind of update where we're at with that. All right, so we got plot C right here. This is it. We got to go on the 4-hour first. PCRX, here we go. So you can see on this one, right, we've already triggered that $4 range way over here. Okay, so that right there has already been a level that's triggered. Everything else has also been triggered as well. This high here at 7 and back down, trading sideways. So I don't expect it to come all the way down there. Now, is it possible? Yeah, sure. It's possible that we see it come back down and then spring back up. Could potentially be another fake out, but just based on the way that these patterns play out, a lot of the times they're either early or they're late in the sequence, depending on where you're tracking. So this right here is, ultimately I would still be tracking the macro levels for this pattern, and this is just one of many, right? But yeah, until it stops tracking that, guys, I still remain bullish on AMC. It's just a very slow formation, very slow cycle. I'm waiting for things to finally turn around here, hopefully soon. So with that being said, I hope you guys liked the video. I will be updating AMC here over the weekend as well, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and make sure you guys smash that like button as well. And if you guys want a little bit more information here on the way some of these other indicators work, click the link below. And there's about 6 indicators right now offered. And you guys can go ahead and use those and the Discord as well if you click the link below. All right, guys, take care.